Drivetime Radio with New York Vinnie.
On this week's edition of Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week? What if I could show?
Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week?
Have a little fun. It is a fun day here out at
You're listening to Drivetime Radio.
Remember, just plug in. I'm ready.
And I'm ready too. Good morning. It's Drive Time Radio. New York Vinnie here with you on a Saturday morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What a morning it is. I just had the whole computer thing crash on me like 2 seconds before I hit the air at 11 o'clock. So we had to go through the whole setup all over again. I don't know what it is about this software that I use. I don't know if it's the software. I don't know if it's my computer. I don't know. I got my computer 5 years, or 4.5 years. Is that about it for computers? I mean, after they get that old, are they likely to screw up the software or whatever it is? I'm just not a computer guy, so I don't know what's going on there. But I do know that it seems that we got it back on track, and we have a nice full show for you today. A lot of interesting stuff that's going on in the automotive world, and we want to present it to you as we do every Saturday morning at about 11 o'clock. We try to get there. We try to get it for you at 11 o'clock. Sometimes it comes through a little bit later than 11 o'clock, as we see this morning. It's just the way it goes. Now I'm trying to also get us onto Instagram, which is something that's also a big pain in the rump to get onto it, to integrate. Of course, you know that the pain in the rump is always worth it when it's you that it's for, and that's the way I always look at it. If we can reach a few more people, then I'm always glad about it. So good morning to everybody that's on Instagram as well. Most of all, we appreciate you sticking with us, hanging with us on this Saturday morning. All right, bunch of stuff going on in the automotive world. So we'll talk about that in the show coming up. And also, as you probably know, if you've passed a gas station with a sign on the gas station of what their prices are, you can tell that their prices have gone up, up, up. And that's the way they're going to be heading for a while, it looks like, with this whole Iran business going on. You know, when you can't get the oil out because the ships are afraid to move through the Gulf, it could be problems. And at the very least, it's going to cause, problems with people trying to move crude oil out of that region to the world markets. And it's going to cause the price of oil to go up, price of gasoline to go up, price of diesel fuel to go up. And that's just the way it is. If you're as old as I am, you've lived through this before. You've lived through it a couple of times before. We've seen it in the 70s. We've seen it in the 80s. We've seen it in the 90s. It seems like every decade there is something that happens in the Middle East to cause wide fluctuations in the market. You say, well, wait a minute. Isn't the president always saying that we're self-sufficient in oil and this and that? Well, it still drives the price up. I mean, I think really it's also a matter of the oil companies seeing that there's an opportunity to raise their prices, and they don't miss a trick when it comes to making a profit. They're there to make money. It's not a nonprofit organization, as some people might believe that it should be, but it is. So prices this week have really gone up ridiculously. Let me see if I can. I had that up here a second ago. There we go. I use a couple of different ways to find out gas prices, not only here, but all over the country. The most reliable and best one I always use is Gas Buddy. They have an app that you can download to find the lowest gas price in your neighborhood, in your state, in the world, in the country. If you're traveling, it's a valuable, valuable resource. And Gas Buddy, now, well, let's do this first. Gas Buddy has talked about the different prices in gas that we see across the average price across the United States, the USA average. And that USA average right now has gone up from 217 to 37, which is today, March 7th. It is up to regular gas, $3.44 a gallon. It's the United States average. The 10th of January, it was down to $2.73 a gallon. So we're up almost $1 a gallon, and most of that rise has come this week. See if I can pull up the different press page here for a second, because there's a really good chart on there. This thing, I hate computers. I really do. But suffice it to say, the prices have just skyrocketed in the last week. Again, price over the last from 3.1 to 3.7, it's gone up from 296 to 344. And if you go back to January, you're talking about less than that, 280 to 344. So we're headed toward $1 a gallon increase in a week. And I have a firm belief, and a couple of people I've spoken to in the gasoline industry have told me that you will see $7 a gallon gasoline in the United States on the West Coast by 4th of July. So if you're planning on taking a trip, if you're planning on your drive across the country, if you're planning on taking a motoring vacation or anywhere really, because if you take a plane trip, it's going to affect fuel prices on a jet. If you take a cruise, it's going to affect fuel prices in a boat. It's going to affect prices everywhere. And so you'll see the dynamic of gas prices going up. Now, if this conflict is ended quickly, and I don't see anybody who has said that they can see this thing ending quickly, but let's give the president the benefit of the doubt for a second, which I really don't like to do, but I'll give it to him for a second. If you see this price of gas going up like it is, are you going to change your vacation plans? if you're a person saying, this is the anniversary, the 100th anniversary of Route 66, or it's this, or it's that, or I want to go to Yellowstone, or I want to go to Glacier, I want to take a car trip, I want to take the kids out there, I want to go visit grandma in Texas, whatever it is. Do you feel like gas price? I mean, what's the breaking point for you? Is it 5 a gallon? Is it 6 a gallon? Is it 7 a gallon? Is it 8 a gallon? Somewhere there's got to be a breaking point. And I just don't think it's going to get any less anytime soon. That's the considered opinion of many people that keep an eye on this kind of thing, that it's not going to go down. You're going to have that summer formulation change that goes on. Actually it happens in spring where they change the formula for the gasoline. That always goes up in the summer. So it's not, if you're buying gasoline, it's going to go up. Energy, everything is going to go up. I mean, because everything that is delivered to your market comes by truck, and the price of fuel for the trucks, whether it be diesel or gasoline, is going up. Look at the price of diesel. Diesel's $5 a gallon around the corner from me. So those eggs that you're enjoying that went down, look for them to go up again. And that is even if you can get the gasoline. And that's a whole nother story. We haven't seen that yet. And hopefully we won't, because we are supposed to be self-sufficient with gasoline. But again, except maybe for the companies that use electric trucks, maybe their prices won't go up as much to deliver. You see them all over the place. There's a number of companies that use electric trucks to deliver their products. Amazon has a large electric fleet. Federal Express has a large electric fleet. So it's just something to keep in mind. We'll keep you updated on your which way you want to go. Maybe it may be cheaper right now to think about going by train. Might be a good time to go by train wherever you're going. Go to grandma's house. By the way, prices, gasoline, up 1.5 cents from yesterday's average. That's a penny and a half a day. 46.1 cents from last week's average. 54.2 cents from last month's average. And 34.6 cents from last year's average. Last year, on the 7th of March, 308.7 cents. So it's $3.09 was the national average for regular gas. And we'll keep you updated on that. This was interesting. I was looking at this before. The highest recorded average of gasoline prices was on June 16th, 22. $5.34. $5.03 was the price. And that was the national average for regular gasoline. Lowest recorded average, and this is going back to 2008, was December 29th, 08, was $1.59 a gallon. This year, today is the highest, $3.42 a gallon. Lowest this year on the 12th of January, $2.74 a gallon. Highest average last year, $3.26 a gallon on the 4th of April. Lowest average last year was $2.76 a gallon on the 29th of December. And on this day in 2022, gasoline was $4.08 a gallon average. In 2009, on this date, it was $1.94. So gas prices are headed up. Like I say, I believe that you're going to see them at $6, $7 a gallon. $6 or $7 a gallon by summer. And hopefully I'm wrong. Believe you me, I want to be wrong. I got a couple of road trips planned this summer, and I want to be wrong because, to be honest with you, if the road trips, if there is a problem and gas goes up to $7 a gallon, it would probably mean that I wouldn't take at least one of those road trips. You know, some of us are on fixed incomes. We're old people. And it just works out that you can't afford to move your car. So, something to keep an eye on. All right. Now, if you are thinking that you may want to do something to alleviate this, the world's largest converter of classic cars to electric vehicles. You know, you've seen them at car shows. People take their classic car and they put a Tesla, motors and stuff in it, or Nissan Leaf is another popular one. Well, electric classic cars of the United Kingdom has come up with a modular EV chassis. It offers dual motor, all-wheel drive, and up to 530 horsepower. It's a Tesla-sourced electric motors. They're paired with a battery pack. It can be fast charged, and it's a plug-and-play solution for vintage pickups and SUVs. You got that 72 Chevy pickup truck. It's got that rotted out framing, but it's a nice body. But, maybe the frame's got some rot. Maybe there's a few things. Well, here's a solution for you. You get this thing. You take the body off. You slip it in. Slip it back down. Bolt down. And you have an electric pickup truck. And I'll be honest with you. I got to believe, and there's no price listed for this. And we're going to try to find out the price. But personally, myself, if I had a nice 72 Chevy Silverado short bed or a step side, even a square body, even a 73 to 70 to 82 or 83, if I had one of those, and it was in nice condition of the body, maybe a blown engine, maybe it's been sitting in the yard. Yeah, I'm going to put an engine in. Maybe I would rather take that body and put it on this chassis and drive that than go out and spend $75,000, $80,000, $90,000 for an electric Silverado or F-150 Lightning. I'd be driving something cool, something classic, and something really cool. Now you could take, your Land Rover Defender, first generation Ford Bronco, an International Scout, and many of them, they're around. They can be had for not so much money. The platform can be modified to accommodate vehicles with wheelbases between 88 and 130 inches. And again, you get into up to 530 horsepower. You get independent suspension, front and rear, limited slip differentials. The ladder axle gets a Tesla Model 3 subframe, traction control, torque vectoring, hill descent control, and you can put on air conditioning. So if you didn't have it before, you would have it now. 56 kilowatt hour pack available for cars in the 88 to 108, and then there's an 82 kilowatt version for the longer wheelbase, 108 to 130. It doesn't say what the range is going to be, but to be honest with you, till you know what the body is going to be on, kind of hard to figure out what the range is going to be. But ECC, which is the company that's doing this in England, they are going to be shipping these to the United States. Cars that have been converted by these people include the Beetle, the Mini, the Land Rover Defender, the Range Rover, Porsche 911, even a Ferrari Testarossa have been transformed into EVs. So this is reality. And as I said, if I got the chance to take an old, beautiful Chevy pickup that I love so much, those old 68, 67 to 72 Chevy pickups, if I could take one of those and turn it into an EV, why not? Why wouldn't I do that? And again, have the truck for less than it would cost me to go out and buy a new one and have something cool. So that's something to think about. Certainly something that is it's just a cool thing, you see. What else we got this morning that we were oh yes. Few things that I saw here that I thought was interesting. Subaru. I want to punch up this story from Subaru that Subaru had a pretty busy week. They showed off a couple of interesting vehicles, and one that's getting a lot of buzz is the Subaru Trail Seeker. This is a vehicle that they share with Toyota, the underpinnings. It's Subaru Outback. Really, when it comes down to it, and the Outback, there's a lot of controversy in Subaru land because the Trail Seeker, the Outback has been machoed up. They squared it off. They took that kind of wagon feel away from it and made it more like an SUV. And a lot of people love the old Outback. And they see this one, they go, well, I don't know. It's not real. It doesn't feel like a Subaru. But the Trail Seeker has, now a lot of what the Outback had in a different, and some people say nicer, better vehicle. Electric, mid-size, two-row SUV. 8.5-inch ground clearance, raised roof rails, all-wheel drive. And it's a dual motor powertrain, 375 horsepower. The same battery pack as another vehicle we'll talk about in a second, the Uncharted, 281 miles of range, $41,445 is the base price. And the Uncharted and the Trail Seeker were both shown off this week by Subaru. The Uncharted has, again, another vehicle. This is a much more of a Impreza type vehicle. So the Uncharted is going to be the electric equivalent of the Crosstrek. It is a very good-looking vehicle, first of all. This is in that same family with the Toyota CHR. Dual motor powertrain, 338 horsepower. They got a front-wheel drive version with 221 horsepower, single motor. It has off-road capability, 8.2 inches of ground clearance. Front-wheel drive version probably won't excite so much the off-road people, but the all-wheel drive version probably will. $46,215 is the base price, or the pretty loaded price of this thing. The GT trim, but early reports are it's a pretty powerful little car. And if you're a off-road enthusiast, that X-Mode system that Subaru has, nice big screen inside, the new square steering wheel, and the Uncharted is, by all accounts, a comfortable car. I'll be looking forward to driving one and seeing how it feels. All of the driver assistance systems are there, but it sounds like it's a pretty solid feeling off-road edition, electric. And believe you me, right now it's a good time to come out with an electric car. But Subaru, a pretty busy week down in Southern California. Want to remind you that this program is brought to you by my good friend, George Jackson. George Jackson is a man who I have been friends with many years, and he provides business promotional items. Now you say, what is a business promotional items? Well, business promotional items are things that you hand out to people, that you give to your valued customers, that you use in promoting your business. Anything from pens to calendars to posters to T-shirts, you name it. And George can get it for you, and can get it for you at a decent price. And he also gives you service. And believe you me, service is something that's sorely missing in today's world. When you take somebody to somebody, you say, I need this by Friday, and you don't get it on Friday. Well, what do you do if you do it through some company that's on your computer? Who do you call? You get an AI chatbot. When you place an order with George, and God forbid something doesn't go right, you got George's number. You call George up and say, George, what's going on? And George says, hang on, I'm going to find out. I'll give you a call back in 5 minutes. And 5 minutes later, George calls you. But see, George, the beautiful thing about doing business with George is that he doesn't let that stuff happen. Because he knows the different manufacturers, because he knows the deal on the tariffs, because he knows and has been in the business long enough that he can get you the best price on the particular item that you need. because he can accomplish all of that, because he can do that, George is the guy you want to deal with. Go check him out at gjpromo.com. It's gjpromo.com. Look him up on Facebook. Look him up on Instagram. He's on all of the socials. And again, if you need business promotional items of any kind, awards, you name it, George does it. And as I said, I'll get it to you on time. He'll get it to you quickly and at a very, very, very good price. So he's a good guy to do business with. All right, what do you say we jump into Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week? Which is always one of my favorite segments of the show. Yo, Vinnie, what are you driving this week? And this week we are, well, we thought we had it here a second ago. Come on now, where are you? There we go. Look at that. It is the Mazda CX-70. Just got into this car on Thursday. And, if you listen to the show, that I'm a big fan of Mazda. I love Mazdas. I think it's one of the most well-built cars on the road today, one of the most stylish cars on the road, and one of the most solid performers. This particular car is an inline 6-cylinder, not a hybrid, not an electric. It's just a straight gasoline engine vehicle. The CX-70 is, look at that interior. I mean, it's a 3.3 Turbo S Premium Plus. The name of this interior is a tan Napa leather. And the feel of this interior, you put your hand on that dashboard, on the seats, and you just feel them, and they feel like heaven. They really do. You're sitting in luxury. From the door panels to the dashboard, to the seats, all the way to the back of the car. It is a solid, stylish car. Plenty of room inside, plenty of comfort inside. What I like about this car, one of the real things I really like about this car is in the interior. I always show you all of the different tech stuff that's in vehicles. What was it? Last week we were showing you the karaoke that's in a car. We were showing you some of the other stuff, the interior lighting. I love all that stuff. But let's say you don't want to pay for that, all of that stuff. You say, what do I need fancy interior lights for? Well, you know what? You can look at the Mazda because it doesn't have the fancy interior lights. It has what it needs to light up the way for you. It has lights. It has seats that you can put down that back seat with the touch of a button. It's got it has a cigarette lighter type plug in the back, also an AC grounded plug in the back. So if you want to plug something in, if you're on a vacation, if you're tailgating, you can do it with this car. It's, as I say, extremely powerful, extremely well handling. It really gives you space, comfort, and room in a package that is not overly big, doesn't make you feel like it's a big SUV. It makes you feel like you're driving a station wagon more than you're driving an SUV. And for the price class of this car, the interior is the same type of interior you would expect to find in a Genesis, in a Lexus, in, a step above, a class above what the Mazda is. But you find it in this Mazda. It's interesting in that, this one is a 2-row SUV. The 90 is a 3-row. Sometimes I wonder why they split them up, but they do. 340 horsepower, 389 pound-feet of torque. if you use premium gasoline. It's a mild hybrid, has a hybrid boost in it. So it's not a full hybrid, not a plug-in hybrid. It's gasoline. But as I said, a stylish car. I took it on a little road trip yesterday in the rain. It handled well. It was comfortable to drive. Sometimes you drive these cars in the rain and, oh man, it's like it tires you out. This one did not. So we'll report to you more on it in a future edition. We'll give you the full road test. But I'm very happy and very excited to be driving the CX-70 this week. Maybe I got a little road trip planned up north that I'm going to go on this week, and I'm looking forward to taking the CX with me. By the way, the price of this car is $56,870. Excuse me, $56,670. Then you add the destination prices on, and this, that, and the other thing, and it comes out to the MSRP sticker price, $59,675. So you're in it for almost $60K with this car. I am sure that there are deals to be had on these vehicles all over the place. And again, a vehicle that if you're looking at that Grand Highlander, you're looking at those types of vehicles, this might be something that you want to go take a look at. All right, that is the Mazda CX-70. That's Yo Vinnie. What are you driving this week? And as I said, nice car, solid car. Enjoy driving it. Also roomy too inside. That's the thing I like about it. I got a bunch of boxes to pick up, and it'll be nice to see how many of them I can slide into the vehicle. All right, continuing on, let's talk about Ford for a second. Ford did something pretty cool this week. The Chicago plant of the Ford Motor Company gave a Ford Explorer to the favorite son of Chicago, the Pope. CEO Jim Farley of Ford and his wife had a specially built Ford Explorer built for the Pope, so he can have a little Ford Pope-mobile to add to his fleet. He's probably got a nice little fleet of cars. I know a few years ago, Fiat gave him one. I know Mercedes gives him one. The Pope, one thing about being the Pope is you get a lot of cars. You get a whole a bevy of different cars. And so the Pope has a new Ford Explorer. It has specialized sill plates and interior appliques of the skyline of the city of Chicago. It's just a special vehicle. And it was funny because they didn't tell the people in the plant who they were building the car for. It was just a VIP vehicle for a VIP. And one of the assembly workers that worked on this car was a student of the Pope's in a Catholic school in Chicago. And all of a sudden he found out that the car he was working on is going to the Pope. And so they took a picture of all of these different people that worked on the car, and they put it in the car so that the Pope could see and probably bless all the people that worked on the car for him. And the guy who worked on the car said he was honored. Never in a million years did he think that working at the Ford plant would give him an opportunity to build something for the Pope. So it's a cool thing, and it's funny because a lot of times you don't necessarily think in your life you're going to be doing something, it's going to be for the Pope. Heck, when you were in his class in Catholic school, you probably think that this guy's, geez, this guy is keeping me after school. And you probably didn't like him for it. But now all of a sudden you find out he gets promoted to Pope. And all the bad stuff goes away. Anyway, this guy was very happy to be in there as the Pope, or to be in there as somebody who was working on the call, the Pope. So I'm sure that Mr. Farley will be excited about seeing the Pope riding around in that Ford Explorer that's built in Chicago, the Pope's hometown. By the way, I just seen this come across my my Facebook feed. I thought I would. What the heck? Why not? If you're out there driving around and you're near Totem Lake at the QFC, the Fisher Scone truck is out there this morning. Now, I know it sounds funny, but I love when this truck is out there. I have a friend that brought me scones from the Fisher Scone truck. And I got to be honest with you, there's not much of a nicer treat than you're sitting around at home and somebody says, "Hey, I got a present for you." And they bring the present over, and it's a bag with a couple of scones in it with the butter and the jam. On a cold, wintry afternoon, you're sitting back going, "Well, what did I do to deserve this?" But the scone truck. So if you're in that neighborhood, if you're near the Totem Lake, get over there and get your scones. So that's a lot of what's going on. As I said, good stuff. I'm really enthusiastic about the Subarus, the new Subaru models. I can't wait to get in and drive them. Because as much as we have gotten away in the past year from electric vehicles, they are alive and they are well, and manufacturers are still making them. As a matter of fact, the number of charging stations has increased over the last year. They are not putting out less. The electric car is not going to die. The electric car is not going away. If you think it's going away, you're mistaken. And mark my words, if gas prices do get up to where I think they're going to get up to, people are going to start to look at electric cars because the deals on them are so incredible right now. I mean, you can go and you can get an electric Hyundai, an electric Kia, two of the best electric cars out there with 300 miles of range and power and comfort and tech and everything. And you can get them for a $300 a month payment. In an era when you can go out there and you got to spend $50,000 for a gasoline car, you can buy an electric car for much, much less. And, I don't hear a lot of people with electric cars talking about problems that they're having with them anymore. That was when they first started. And that was, I think, also a lot of Republicans throwing stink on them. A lot of people that didn't like them throwing stink on them. The infrastructure for the charging stations were definitely a problem. But they've gotten that sorted out, mostly. And so now you get an electric car. Last time I had an electric car, I had the Lucid, and then I had what I have after that, the Audi. And both of those cars drove up to the electric charging station, pulled the cord out of the machine, plugged it into the car, charged up like that. 30 minutes, you're on your way with an 80% charge. No problem whatsoever. So I'm just saying that if you're in the market for a vehicle before the price of them goes up, you might do yourself a favor to look at some of the buys are out there on the electric cars. Speaking about electric cars, we're going to review an electric car this morning. One of the great things that I was able to do just a couple of weeks ago was drive the Ford Mustang Mach-E. And this is a car that has been around for a while. And the Mach-E is Ford has benefited from their experience with this car. When you look at the performance electric SUVs, this one has a lot going for it. Now, this is the Ford Mustang Mach-E GT. The one thing that you have to watch out with the 2026 version is that they've changed the options around. So some of the packages don't include some of the things that the packages from last year's model might include. So you really have to, when if you're interested in one of these cars and you go down to price it or you go down to test drive it, you got to make sure that you're getting the right options for this car. And I would not buy one without Blue Cruise. Blue Cruise was one of the most incredible self-driving systems that I have used in a car, going up to and back from Bellingham on I-5. It was phenomenal to drive the car. Not that you can take your eyes off the road. You should never take your eyes off the road, but you can take your hands off the wheel. You can let this car switch lanes for you. And I know it's tough for some people to call this car a Mustang. So don't call it a Mustang. Just call it an electric SUV, an EV SUV, an ESUV. Now, it's no longer eligible for the federal EV tax credits because those only exist in very limited circumstances anymore. But the car is, I think, is a stunning looking car. It's roomy inside. As we've said before, it has a karaoke machine. What more do you want? But as I said, you really need to, if you go in to buy one of these things, look at the different options and what's included in the 26, what's not included in 26 that was included with the 25. On the entry-level select trim and the premium trims, the Blue Cruise, the wireless smartphone charging pad, and the 360-degree camera system and front parking sensors are now optional. The hood and the deck lid stripes are optional on the rally package. The GT, and this is something that the GT for 26, the adaptive sports suspension, which I remember on one of the earlier GTs I drove with standard equipment, now is a $3,000 option. But if I were to buy a Mustang Mach-E GT, I would not want to be without the adaptive sports suspension system. It brought the handling and the driving of the car to a whole new level. It's extremely quick off the line. It's extremely comfortable off the line. The seats in the EGT, as you can see here, are bolstered, comfortable. Maybe you want a little more bolstering in the GT. I don't know. I thought it had good, solid, comfortable seats. A bunch of tech in this car, a frunk that actually has room for stuff in this car. Wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is in it. Got, again, I think a solid value in this car. And a lot of people that have bought them, as I've looked in some of the different online forums, really like the car. There's not a lot of people with negative stuff to say about the car. The range on them, the GT, the all-wheel drive, has gotten 281 miles on a single charge. Now, you would expect to get less out of that, but as you can see there, screen is clear and concise, and it's just a solid vehicle. There's one other thing I wanted to get back to here. This particular one was $52,000. As I said, a lot of in-cabin tech. The great handling. It was the Blue Crew system is something that I think all drivers should experience once in their life. And I wouldn't buy a Mustang GT without it. After a long day of driving the car, it feels solid. Do the quarter mile in about 12 seconds. And braking performance on the vehicle, fade free, beautiful, stops when you want it to stop and how you want it to stop. Also love the fact that Ford gives you that one pedal driving in this car. So altogether, this is a great package. This Mustang Mach-E GT is a great package. It brings you tested reliability. It brings you great performance, sports car-like performance. With that suspension package, it gives you an incredible feel of the road, maybe some of the best that you'll feel in an electric vehicle. It gives you good range. It gives you lots of tech stuff to play with. It has a karaoke machine in it, which I love. I'm never going to get that out of my mind. It's roomy. And it's a sharp-looking car. Now, again, you can argue the Mustang thing, whether it should be called the Mustang, shouldn't be called the Mustang. So if it bothers you that much, get it out of your head and just love it for what it is. A solid, well put together electric vehicle that's an SUV, a small compact SUV that gets the job done. It is fun to drive in the city, even more fun to drive out on the open road. And it's unfortunate that there's been, again, so much stink put on electric vehicles, because Ford has really done a nice job with this vehicle. And I really think that that if you decide that you're in the market for this type of vehicle, that this vehicle bears you taking a look at. I wouldn't put it, up with the. I wouldn't put it on the same level with the Hyundais and the Kia, their EVs, but right close to them. Right close to them. They're in that group of EVs that are performance EVs that give you a thrill of driving, that give you a great feel of the road, and that's where that suspension system comes in, and that are, I think, worth the money. So that's the Ford Mustang Mach-E GT. A solid effort from Ford. Been around a while, and they keep improving it. I just didn't like the part of them taking away the options. But hey, listen, Ford's in a bit of financial trouble. They're playing with the numbers a little bit. You just have to be a smart consumer when you go out there and make sure that you're getting what you need out of buying this car. If this is a car that you want to take a look at to buy. All right. That's going to wrap it up. It's going to put it in the books. Another edition of Drive Time Radio. We thank you so much for listening to our little show today. Appreciate it as always. And make sure that when you're out there, you are safe on the road. It's slippery. It's rainy. It's, not the best. Oh, by the way, one thing I did want to mention, somebody sent me a email and asked me about this. We used to do a cartoon of the week. Cartoon, meaning a automotive related song of the week. But because of copyright stuff, and because we're not on the radio anymore, we can't do it over the internet through the social media platforms. But we have compiled all the songs that we played, some more, into a playlist on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify and you look for the Drive Time Radio Saturday Morning Cartoons playlist, it's a public playlist, Drive Time Radio Saturday Morning Cartoons, and that's CARTUNES playlist. There's 100-song playlist there of different songs that we have played on Drive Time Radio, and we'll hopefully at some point be able to play them again. But lots of good music there for you to listen to, for your listening enjoyment on Spotify. So definitely something that if you missed that feature of the show, we could give it to you at least in this form. And we will, of course, keep adding to that list as I discover new songs about driving, about cars, about motoring, about road trips, about all sorts of great car tunes. All right? Okay, thanks so much for listening. We will catch up with you next week, 11 o'clock on Saturday morning, if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. We'll see you also on Monday morning at 10:10 with Michael Knight on Mikey and Vinnie Take on the World. Be active. Be active right now. It's not a time to let things go. Be active. Get out there. Get with people. Organize. We lost Jesse Jackson this past week, or a week and a half or so. And one thing I always learned from the Reverend Jackson is organize. Get people organized so that you can affect change. That there's safety in numbers. There's power in numbers. Register people to vote. And make sure that you don't take what's going on lying down, that you stand up. I don't want to get too political on the show, but I also realize that things are going on in this country that aren't so great, and they need to be looked at, and they need not to be lost in the daily hubbub of being too busy. We should never be too busy to save our country. And I'll leave you with those words. I'm New York Vinnie. We'll see you on Monday if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise. Have a good one. And thank you for listening.